The truth is that many of us have never given our own safety a significant thought when it came to running. We run during the day and in well-populated areas, doing enough to feel safe. But as more and more women are murdered while running, the grim truth that the next one could be one of us stares back at us in the mirror. And we have to face the facts. We are not safe while doing something we love. The thing that brings us joy, confidence, and a sense of worth could be the very thing that gets us murdered or missing. I'm going to tell you these stories because every runner matters. Every single woman who laced up her shoes and didn't come back alive deserves to have her story told. And to every woman still heading out the door, taking extra precautions to try to ensure she comes home, I see you. I am you. This is Girl Gone Running, a Tragedy with a View series about murdered and missing runners. I am your host, Kayla. Welcome back. Hello, and welcome again to Girl Gone Running. This is the last public episode of Girl Gone Running. Next week is the last episode of Season 1. I am your host, Kayla, and thank you so much for joining me. If you want more episodes like this, please take a moment to head over and join me either on Patreon, the link is in the description, or if you listen on Apple or Spotify, you can join the subscription there. There are 4 more of the Girl Gone Running episodes and regular episodes of Tragedy with a View each month. As we wrap up here, I'm really glad because I'm getting into my own running season, and I'll be glad not to have all of this information about runners being murdered bouncing around in my head. And on that note, I want to emphasize, as I know I will be entering a couple of national parks this summer, and I'm sure you will too. But again, as we navigate this incredibly trying time and everything is just changing so quickly, just remember to recreate responsibly and be smart out there and be kind to one another. We're all just trying to do the best that we can in these current circumstances. And hopefully I'll see you out there on the trails. As a reminder, June will be bringing merch to the table, and I am so excited to be working with Cindy Roaming Designs again. She did my original brand work, and she is just so kind, and I can't wait to see what she's coming up with. As of right now, again, 100% of profits from this podcast goes to a nonprofit of your choice, and she is also helping me design a specific t-shirt for the purpose of supporting public lands and national parks. So all of that will be coming in June, and truly appreciate the impact that you guys help myself and this podcast make. I'm so glad that I'm able to give back with this little passion project that I have. Moving on, today we are looking at the case of Wendy Snowdon. Wendy was a young woman full of life and promise. She was known for her warm smile and vibrant energy that could uplift anyone she encountered. Those who knew her described her as compassionate and driven, someone who embraced life's challenges with grace and determination. Wendy had a passion for fitness, often seen jogging through her favorite park. Her love for the outdoors reflected in her zest for life. She was not just admired for her accomplishments, but cherished for her kindness and joy that she brought to her friends and her family and her community. Her light was undeniable, a beacon of positivity and hope that touched everyone around her, whether it was her encouraging words or unwavering support for those she loved. Wendy's presence made the world brighter. Her tragic loss left a void that could never be filled, yet her memory continues to inspire those who were fortunate enough to know her. While New Zealand is generally considered a safe country to live in, it consistently ranks highly in global safety and quality of life. The country has low crime rates and a stable political environment and a strong sense of community. Violent crime is rare, and the police are approachable and trusted by the public. That said, like any country, New Zealand has its challenges, including occasional property crimes and road safety concerns. There's natural disasters such as earthquakes, which can pose risk in certain regions. However, the government and local authorities are well prepared to handle such situations. New Plymouth, New Zealand has just a little bit of a different feel. Residents report feeling safe walking alone during the daylight hours with a high safety rating. However, safety at night is rated moderately lower. The safety rating during the day is at a 76.58, while at night it falls to a 41.73. Living in New Plymouth, New Zealand in 1986 would have been a blend of small-town charm and the involving modern aspects of the area. As the major city in the Taranaki region, New Plymouth offered a picturesque setting with its coastal location and proximity to Mount Taranaki, which is a striking volcanic peak. The community is tight-knit with a slower pace of life in comparison to larger cities. Brooklands Park in New Plymouth, New Zealand is a beautiful, expansive green space that offers a serene escape for visitors. It spans just over 52 acres and is known for its lush greenery, tranquil lakes, and well-maintained walking and running trails. The park is a haven for outdoor enthusiasts, providing opportunities for leisurely strolls, training runs, or simply just being in the beauty of nature. One of the park's standout features is the Bowl of Brooklands, which is a natural amphitheater and lake that has been transformed into a renowned outdoor concert venue. It hosts various events, including the New Zealand edition of the WOMAD Festival. Additionally, the park is home to Brooklands Zoo, which is a family-friendly attraction where visitors can see all sorts of exotic animals, farm animals, and just beautiful birds. Brooklands Park is a cherished part of New Plymouth's community, which offers the opportunity to blend nature and recreational activities and cultural experiences. And this is probably what drew Wendy to the Brooklands on Friday, November 21st, 1986. At 23 years old, she actually took the day off of work on this Friday. She was planning to take the New Zealand Certificate of Engineering exam and had her final paper due the following Monday, so she was using some extra time to prepare for that. She worked as an assistant planner at the company called Olex Cable System, which has since been bought out by Nexen, and from very briefly looking at the website, they appear to make cables for a variety of different electrical-related projects. Wendy also participated in life-saving competitions like the lifeguard at the pool type events. She was so good that she was at the national championships, and in order to prepare her body as best she could, she often went for runs, and this is exactly what she was doing on November 21st. Heading out to Brooklands, she had been planning to meet her friends there to run through Brooklands Park and into Pukekura Park. Hopefully I'm not saying that too wrong. These two parks share a boundary line, and therefore it's easy to access each park from the other. But her friend was unable to come run with her last minute, and this, of course, did not deter Wendy. She had arrived to the park and was running before the clock struck 10 in the morning. This park is a really popular area, so there were plenty of people out and about, and Wendy, like many runners, probably thought about her safety and then brushed it off with the amount of people that were there. I myself have done this. But then, just before 10:30, a person who was walking their dog on the trails came to a confluence of the trails. Pausing to determine which way to go, they heard a noise. Following the sound, they stumbled upon Wendy, who was unconscious on the trail. This person immediately went and called the police, who rushed to Wendy and took her to the Taranaki Base Hospital, where she was admitted into the intensive care unit, or the ICU. Here, doctors determined that she had been raped and strangled and likely left to die on the trail. She had a head wound that was suggestive of a hard strike against her head, and this is what caused her unconsciousness. As they waited for Wendy to wake up, police returned to the park and began to speak to anyone that they could find that would have been there during the time, and started to follow all of those leads. During this time, police spoke to about 120 people, and a man continued to be mentioned for his odd behavior. This man was Gary Lawrence McKinley. He was 26 years old and at that point unemployed, and was from Okado. He had a criminal past, not quite to the level of murder, but he had been previously arrested for burglary, theft, and aggravated assault. When police finally tracked him down, they brought him into the police station for his interview on November 9th. At this point, he fully admitted to killing Wendy. What he claims is that he was in the park when suddenly another personality took over his consciousness, and that was when he attacked her. He then explained that he had been in the park at about 10 a.m. when he saw Wendy running. This was when the new personality took over, and when he realized that she was running towards him, he grabbed a large rock and leapt into some bushes. The part of the trail that she was on was actually a downhill, and as she passed him, he climbed out of the bushes and started running after her. Wendy was caught completely by surprise, and she didn't even have time to turn around. Gary used the rock to bludgeon Wendy on the head, and this knocked her unconscious. He then picked her up, carried her to a more secluded location, raped her, and then began to strangle her. When he thought that she was dead, he picked himself up off the ground and walked away like nothing happened at all. It took 9 days for police to find the man and get a confession for Wendy's attack. But this was not enough. 16 days later, Wendy would never regain consciousness. On Sunday, December 7th, she died from her injuries. Police were already suspicious about Gary's claims that he wasn't himself when he attacked Wendy, and so they had him evaluated at the Lake Alice Hospital for any psychiatric condition. And when the results came back, one thing was clear. Gary Lawrence McKinley displayed inappropriate behaviors, but the psychiatric evaluation determined that there were no abnormalities that would support Gary's claim of another personality. In fact, there were no psychiatric conditions that would explain Gary's behavior at all. With this information, a trial was held in the Hamilton High Court in June of 1987, and Gary would be sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Wendy and 6 years for the rape of Wendy. Now, life in prison is a complicated sentence. While many hear this would believe that this person is then going to die in prison, that is not always the case. While generally speaking, when it comes to life sentences worldwide, we can give the broad definition that life imprisonment is a long period of time that is not clearly defined, and it is often not for the entire length of that criminal's life. In New Zealand, there are certain aspects of a crime that can make the sentence as little as 10 years, and sometimes the person never leaves prison. And while some do leave, many are monitored for the rest of their life here on Earth. Since Gary has been incarcerated, he has been denied parole several times, most recently in 2019 due to him being a huge risk to the public. And apparently, being in prison has not done anything to deter him from continuing to commit crimes. In 2003, Gary escaped and was very quickly caught. In 2008, he got into an altercation with another inmate who Gary claims insulted his cat. So what did he do? He got a 12-centimeter or nearly 5-inch long kitchen knife, which he then used to stab this inmate 6 times in the neck and chest while he sat and watched TV. Gary at this point had been in prison for about 20 years, which is nearing what would be the normal end of a life prison sentence, and he would later assault a prison officer. Despite this, the parole board continues to hope that Gary will complete the adult sex offender program, which would allow him to start a reintegration plan, which would allow for him to be released at some point. But as we already know, he's a violent one. In 2017, he actually started this process, but he had to be removed from the sex offender program because he was becoming a risk to others. Today, Gary is still in prison, and it does not seem that he will be freed anytime soon. Wendy's life was cut short, and this is a huge blow to any family, but Wendy's compassion and outgoing personality leave a hole where her smile once was. She is undoubtedly missed by everyone who was blessed to be in her life, and while her family has found closure, the wounds persist. Wounds like these never close. They remain open to the world, the light and despair and everything in between. But many find comfort in holding close the memories that they had with those they love. They find themselves smiling through the tears and remembering the times where they were happy instead of those final moments while devastated when saying goodbye. But when a murder is solved, it is not just about uncovering the truth. It's about restoring the sense of safety, hope, and closure to those affected. For the families of victims, justice can bring peace to the hearts that are long burdened by unanswered questions and unrelenting pain. And for the community, it helps to strengthen the belief that every life matters and every voice will be heard. Each solved case is a reminder of the resilience within us and the power of coming together to support one another. It helps to honor those we've lost by standing firm in our commitment to truth and justice. As always, thank you for listening. Until next time, bye. What is life without close calls with disaster? Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow the podcast to be the first to hear the now weekly episodes. Join our subscription on Patreon, Apple, or Spotify today and immerse yourself in the haunting beauty of the great outdoors. For around $4 a month, you'll get exclusive access to the first episode of each month and early access to all other episodes, showcasing the morbid and mysterious side of nature. Please reach out with story requests, and if you have your own story, please email tragedywithaview@gmail.com for a chance to have your story featured on a later episode. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.